钢铁的心，穿过烈焰，在火中升起。昨天的梦，在今天重聚，为历史写下永恒的诗句。
The heroic energy resonated between heaven and earth. Passion and loyalty filled the souls of the soldiers. They marched thousands of miles to a faraway battlefield and vowed to defeat the Japanese. On December 8, 1941, the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor in the U.S. and initiated the Pacific War that spread to the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and Burma. The Japanese attempted to cut the Burma Road that was the primary transportation route for international supplies into southwest China. They were trying to force a Chinese surrender to facilitate the westward invasion of India. The purpose was to join forces with the Germans in the Middle East and conquer the world. On January 1st, 1942, the Allies, comprising the ROC, US, UK, and 23 other countries, signed a joint declaration in Washington pledging to fight the Axis alliance. Then Generalissimo Chiang Kai-shek was named Supreme Commander of the Chinese theater that included Vietnam and Thailand. As the situation in Southeast Asia worsened, the ROC was requested by the Allies to establish the CEF and for the first time crossed national borders into Burma. CEF Commander Lieutenant General Luo Zhuo-ing tasked 10 divisions, including the 38th, 49th, and 200th, from the 5th, 6th, and 66th Armies, and devoted over 100,000 troops to the 3-year conflict in the Burma theater. Commander of the 200th Division, Dian Lan, fearlessly laid down his life during the first battle in Burma. The activation of the CEF produced concrete results. The force impressed the Allies and elevated China's status in the international community. The US and UK abolished unequal treaties signed with the Qing dynasty, lifting hundreds of years of invisible shackles. On November 23, 1943, Chiang was invited to the Cairo Conference. Along with US President Franklin Roosevelt and UK Prime Minister Winston Churchill, Chiang approved 4 days later the Cairo Declaration, which was made public December 1st the same year. The declaration demanded Japan return occupied Chinese territories to the ROC, including the 3 northeastern provinces, Taiwan and Penghu Islands. On July 26, 1945, the Potsdam Declaration, jointly declared by the ROC, US, and UK, included in Article 8, requiring implementation of the terms and conditions of the Cairo Declaration. On September 2, 1945, the Japanese government unconditionally surrendered to the Allies and accepted the Potsdam Declaration in the Japanese Instrument of Surrender. The CEF made fearless sacrifices for the rescue of the Allied forces and also contributed to bringing Taiwan and Penghu back to the ROC. The implications are far-reaching. This page of history should not be forgotten by the people who are enjoying freedom and democracy in Taiwan and its offshore islands. Struggling through savage jungles into foreign lands, the soldiers proudly marched to the battlefield with their loyal hearts. Absolutely fearless of bullets, they fought their way deep into the conflict to the sound of the Song of Victory. The CEF twice entered Burma and worked with the Allied forces to fight the Japanese and opened up the Lido Road. This allowed American supplies to flow into southwest China and ensured the success of the resistance war against the Japanese. The counterattack on the Burma battlefield tied down significant Japanese forces and facilitated advancement of the Allied forces in the Pacific Theater. This was a critical factor in the final victory of the Allies. During the Burma operations of the CEF, The Battle of Yenanyong and the Battle of Michina are particularly noteworthy. On April 16, 1942, over 7,000 British troops were encircled by the Japanese in Yenanyong. In fear of being wiped out, the British repeatedly called for help. General Sun Liren, commander of the 38th Division, instructed Liu Fangwu, commander of the 113th Regiment, to rush to the rescue. With less than 1,000 men, the 113th Regiment dealt a serious blow to the Japanese force that was many times its size. The battle saved the British troops as well as over 500 missionaries and journalists and became internationally renowned. Sun and Liu were later conferred with the Order of Resplendent Banner with Special Cravat and the Order of Resplendent Banner with Special Rosette, respectively, by the ROC government. Sun also received a Commander of the British Empire Medal, which was given to a foreigner by the UK government for the first time. Liu was also honored by the UK government. In 1992, for the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Yenanyong, late UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher went to Chicago to meet with Liu and thanked him for rescuing British troops in Burma. Their meeting was an emotional one. Captain Gerald Fitzpatrick, who fought in Burma at the time, was saved by the 113th Regiment and later wrote books accounting how the CEF saved British troops. He also visited Taiwan to express his appreciation and joined celebrations for the 90th anniversary of Whampoa Military Academy in June 2014. The first battles of the CEF in Burma were successful. Later, superior Japanese firepower fiercely suppressed Allied forces. A portion of the CEF retreated to China along the Burma Road. Another portion was forced to cross over the desolate Yeren Mountain in northern Burma and into India. As they went deep into the mountains, the unforgiving terrain, ferocious wildlife, and severe food shortages resulted in large casualties. While in India, the CEF relocated to Ramgarh in Bihar province and was renamed the Chinese Expeditionary Force in India and placed under Theater Commander U.S. General Joseph Stilwell. There were the 1st and 6th Armies that commanded units including the 22nd, 30th, and 38th Divisions. After intensive training, the 120,000-plus force entered northern Burma in October 1943 on a counterattack mission. The Battle of Michina was especially difficult. It dragged on for over 2 months and cost the enemy over 2,000 casualties. The 5307th Composite Unit, commanded by Brigadier General Frank Merrill, also joined the battle. In honor of this glorious action, the ROC national symbol was incorporated into the emblem of the U.S. 75th Ranger Regiment. The battle in northern Burma took out 50,000 Japanese troops and recovered 130,000 square kilometers of Burmese territory. When CEF in India conducted counterattack in northern Burma, General Chen Cheng was commander, later succeeded by Wei Lihua. Chen organized the Expeditionary Forces in Yunnan with 200,000 troops and commanded the 11th and 20th Group Armies with subordinate 2nd, 6th, 53rd, and 54th Armies. They began on May 11, 1944 from Baoshan, Yunnan, crossed the Salween River and Gaoligong Mountains to attack western Burma. The forces conquered critical cities such as Tengchong, Songshan, and Longling, fighting for more than 8 months, killing over 20,000 Japanese troops and recovering 38,000 square kilometers of territory in western Yunnan province. A total of 100,000 expeditionary soldiers sacrificed their lives during the 3-year campaign. The wind intensified the beating drums of war with the question of life and death forgotten while fighting abroad. The soldiers' integrity towered over the highest mountains and outlasted the toughest seasons. Their loyal hearts will be celebrated forever in eternity. When CEF in India conducted missions, the bodies of the fallen could only be buried temporarily wherever the troops maneuvered. When the war ended, the cemetery of the Chinese Expeditionary Force in India was constructed in 1943 in Ramgarh, Bihar province, after reaching an agreement with the British government. In 2000, the ROC government brought back the memorial tablet for the fallen soldiers of Chinese Expeditionary Force in India to Taiwan. It has been worshipped at the Martyrs' Shrine since then. Since its construction in 1943, the cemetery in Ramgarh has deteriorated greatly. Through the efforts of the Ministries of National Defense and Foreign Affairs, the cemetery was renovated in 2011, and a grand ceremony was held there to honor those who lost their lives. ROC service members made the ultimate sacrifice in Burma. Because of constraints, the overseas fallen have not received the appropriate honor and respect over the past 70 years. However, the ROC government has never forgotten their contributions to the country. After bringing memorial tablets in Papua New Guinea and renovating the cemetery in Ramgarh, a task force was established in August 2014 to travel to the battlefields in Burma to mourn the fallen soldiers and bring their spirits back to the ROC. Led by Major General Huang Qing, the task force also went to visit two 90-year-old former CEF soldiers, the Guangdian and Liu Hui, to brief them on the mission and award them the National Flag Decoration to honor their sacrifice and patriotism. The task force returned to the Burma battlefields to bring the spirits of the fallen soldiers and invite overseas Chinese groups and representatives of the offspring of CEF to take part in the event. They circled around the Dagung Elementary School with the tablet and invited the spirits of the fallen soldiers in the Michina tomb and old sites of their tombs to return home. The ceremony was held in Shensu Temple and Guanyin Temple. Dharma Master Shindao invited other local Buddhists to read the Buddhism scriptures. After the national anthem was performed, the ceremony proceeded with participants expressing their admiration and condolences. On August 27, 2014, the memorial tablet for the fallen in Burma arrived in the ROC. The tablet was carried directly to the Martyrs' Shrine, where MND Minister Yen Ming was silently waiting with more than 100 military representatives. The memorial tablet contained the largest number of fallen soldiers in the history of the Martyrs' Shrine. During the ceremony, an honor guard soldier held the tablet while it was interned in the Martyrs' Shrine. Yen was the chief celebrant, accompanied by several legislators, MND officials, and representatives of the veteran soldiers. After the ceremony, the spirits of the famous and patriotic soldiers were finally honored and laid to rest. In order to help ROC citizens understand the history of the Chinese Expeditionary Force and the importance of the fallen soldiers, the MND produced a special video documenting the history of the CEF and the efforts of the task force. The video was played in the ceremony of the Martyr Commemoration September 3rd, which was presided over by President Ma Ying-jeou. This was the first time to include a video in the ceremony and demonstrates the government's respect for the national martyrs. In the ceremony, in addition to the Vice President, the head